Hey everyone, and welcome back to Code Your English, the place where we learn, grow, and build a stronger mindset while improving our English skills. I'm really happy to have you here today. Wherever you are, maybe walking, studying, or just relaxing. Thank you for taking this time to listen, to think, and to connect. Today's episode is about something that can completely change the way you live, work, and learn. It's about commitment, the real power behind every dream that becomes reality. We all have dreams, don't we? Some people dream of speaking English fluently. Others dream of starting a business, traveling the world, or simply becoming more confident in life. At the beginning, we feel excited and full of energy. Everything seems possible. But after a few days or weeks, that excitement starts to fade. We feel tired. We face small problems or self-doubt. And slowly, we stop. The dream we once cared about so much begins to disappear. Sound familiar? The truth is, this happens to almost everyone. Many people start strong, but very few finish what they begin. Why? Because motivation is easy to find. But commitment, that deep promise we make to ourselves to keep going no matter what, that's rare. Commitment is what separates those who only wish from those who actually do. It's not about being lucky or talented. It's about showing up again and again, even when it's hard, even when nobody is watching, even when you don't feel like it. Think about it for a moment. How many times have you started something with excitement? Maybe an English course, a new habit, or a personal goal? And then stopped halfway. It's not because you're weak or lazy. It's because commitment takes practice. It's a mindset. It's choosing to stay focused when your mind wants to quit. It's about understanding that progress takes time and patience. In today's episode, we're going to explore this idea deeply. We'll talk about what commitment really means and why it's much more powerful than motivation. We'll also look at the common challenges that stop us from staying consistent, like fear, self-doubt, or perfectionism, and how to overcome them. I'll share some examples and stories that show how commitment transforms ordinary dreams into real achievements. And by the end, you'll have some simple, practical ways to build more commitment in your own life. Whether it's for learning English, improving your skills, or following your biggest goals. So, take a deep breath and get ready to reflect. This isn't just another motivational talk. It's a gentle reminder that you already have what it takes to change your life. You don't need to wait for perfect conditions or the right moment. You just need to decide to stay committed. Because in the end, dreams don't work unless you do. And commitment, that quiet, steady force, is what turns every dream into reality. What commitment really means. When we hear the word commitment, many people think it just means sticking to something. But the truth is, commitment goes much deeper than that. It's not only about doing something for a while or following a plan because you have to. Real commitment is a mindset. It's a mental and emotional decision. A quiet promise you make to yourself that says, no matter how long it takes, I'll keep going. It's what keeps you moving when motivation disappears, and it's what helps you finish what you start. Let's be honest, motivation is easy to feel in the beginning. When you start learning English, you might watch videos, buy notebooks, and tell yourself, this time I'm really going to do it. But after a week or two, your energy starts to fade. You might feel tired or get busy with other things. Suddenly, it's not so exciting anymore. That's where most people stop. But the people who stay committed, they keep going, even when it's not fun anymore. They understand that real growth happens during those boring, difficult, or uncomfortable moments. Commitment is about dedication, giving your time, focus, and energy to something that truly matters to you. It's about consistency, showing up again and again, even when progress feels slow. It's about perseverance, the ability to continue through challenges, mistakes, or failures. And it's about follow-through, finishing what you start, even when nobody else is watching. These four ideas, dedication, consistency, perseverance, and follow-through, are the foundation of real success in any area of life. Think about people who achieve something meaningful. A writer who finally publishes a book. An athlete who wins a medal. A student who learns a new language. None of them got there overnight. They all faced moments when they wanted to give up. But they made a decision, a deep, strong decision, to continue no matter what. They didn't wait for inspiration. They relied on their commitment. Let's take a simple example. Learning English. At first, you're full of enthusiasm. You listen to podcasts, repeat new words, and feel proud when you understand a few sentences. But after a while, you make mistakes, forget vocabulary, or can't express yourself the way you want. It feels frustrating, right? Many people stop here and say, "Maybe I'm just not good at English." But those who are committed think differently. They say, "It's okay. I'll keep trying. Every day, I'll do a little bit more." And that small act, that decision to stay consistent, makes all the difference. The same is true with anything else. A fitness goal, a new business, or even building a relationship. When you start going to the gym, it's exciting in the beginning. You buy new clothes, watch fitness videos, and imagine your results. But after a few weeks, the excitement fades. You feel sore, tired, or lazy. This is the moment when commitment begins. The people who continue going, even when they don't see fast results, are the ones who truly change their lives. Because commitment is not about speed. It's about staying steady. You can think of commitment like planting a seed. You don't get a tree in one day. You water it, take care of it, and protect it from storms. Sometimes it looks like nothing is happening. But under the ground, the roots are growing stronger. The same happens with your goals. Even when you can't see the results yet, your effort is building something powerful inside you. Discipline, patience, and resilience. But commitment doesn't always feel comfortable. In fact, it often asks you to do things you don't want to do. It means waking up early to study. It means practicing your pronunciation when no one else is around. It means failing, trying again, and failing once more, but never quitting. That's the beauty of it. Each time you choose to continue, you prove to yourself that you're stronger than your excuses. So, let me ask you something. When was the last time you gave up on something you really wanted? Maybe it was learning a language, getting fit, or starting a creative project. Why did you stop? Was it because you didn't care anymore? Or because it got hard and uncomfortable? If you think about it, most dreams die not because they're impossible, but because people stop before they see results. Commitment is what bridges the gap between wanting and achieving. It's the difference between saying, "I wish," and saying, "I did it." It teaches you to be patient, to trust the process, and to believe in yourself even when things aren't perfect. So next time you start something new, whether it's improving your English, developing a new habit, or working toward a personal goal, don't just rely on motivation. Motivation will make you start, but commitment will make you finish. And that's where real success begins. The difference between motivation and commitment. Let's talk about something that many people confuse: motivation and commitment. At first, they might seem similar. Both can push you toward your goals. Both make you take action. But there's a big difference between them. And understanding that difference can completely change the way you chase your dreams. Motivation is like a spark. It gives you energy for a moment. Commitment, on the other hand, is like the fire that keeps burning even after the spark is gone. Motivation is all about feelings. It's that rush of excitement you feel when you start something new. Maybe a new English course, a fitness challenge, or a creative project. You feel inspired, full of energy, and ready to give your best. You say to yourself, "This time, I'll do it. I'll stay consistent." But after a few days or weeks, that feeling starts to fade. You get busy, tired, or distracted. Suddenly, the same thing that once excited you now feels like a burden. This is where most people stop, not because they don't care anymore, but because motivation doesn't last forever. Commitment is different. It's not based on emotion. It's based on decision. It's a quiet but strong choice to keep going, even when you don't feel like it. When motivation disappears, commitment steps in. It whispers, "I'll do it anyway." Commitment is what makes you continue your English practice even on a bad day. It's what makes an athlete wake up early to train, even when they're tired. It's what helps you see it through, to stay the course until the end. You've probably heard the saying, "When the going gets tough, the tough get going." That's exactly what commitment looks like. Anyone can keep working when everything feels easy, but real strength appears when things get hard. Motivation will help you start, but commitment will help you finish. And finishing, seeing something through to the end, is what truly builds confidence and results. Let's look at a simple example. Imagine a student named Lena who wants to speak English fluently. In the beginning, she's full of motivation. She watches English movies, listens to podcasts, and studies every day for hours. But after 2 weeks, she starts to feel bored. She realizes that understanding real conversations is more difficult than she thought. She makes mistakes, forgets words, and sometimes feels embarrassed. Her motivation drops. At this moment, Lena has 2 choices. She can give up and say, "Maybe English isn't for me." Or she can stay committed and say, "I'll keep going, even if it's slow." So she chooses the second option. She doesn't study for 3 hours anymore, but she does at least 20 minutes every day. She keeps listening to podcasts, repeating sentences, and learning from her mistakes. Slowly, her brain adapts. Her listening improves. Her confidence grows. Months later, she can have full conversations in English. She's not perfect, but she's proud, because she didn't quit. That's what commitment looks like in real life. Now, think about an athlete training for a marathon. At the beginning, it's exciting. They imagine crossing the finish line, people cheering, the sense of victory. But after a few weeks of early mornings and sore muscles, the excitement disappears. The weather gets cold, their legs hurt, and the finish line feels far away. This is where motivation dies, but commitment keeps them running. They keep training, one step at a time, even on days when they want to stay in bed. Because they know something important. Success doesn't depend on how you feel. It depends on what you do, especially when you don't feel like doing it. Motivation is like a visitor. It comes and goes. Some days it knocks on your door, and you feel ready to conquer the world. Other days, it disappears, leaving you tired and unsure. But commitment lives inside you. It doesn't wait for perfect conditions or the right mood. It just keeps moving forward, slowly and steadily. That's why people who rely only on motivation often stop halfway, while people who are truly committed keep growing. Here's something to think about. How many times have you waited to feel motivated before doing something important? Maybe you've said, "I'll study English when I'm in the mood," or "I'll start exercising when I feel ready." But the truth is, you might never feel ready. Commitment teaches you to act first and let motivation follow. The more you show up, the more progress you make, and progress creates motivation. So, next time you feel unmotivated, remind yourself, you don't need to feel inspired every day. You just need to stay committed. You just need to keep showing up. When the going gets tough, don't step back, step forward. Because every time you do, you train your mind to be stronger, more patient, and more confident. Motivation can start the journey, but commitment is what takes you to the destination. And once you learn to rely on commitment instead of waiting for motivation, you'll realize something powerful. You're capable of far more than you ever imagined. The roadblocks. Why we struggle to stay committed. Now that we've talked about what commitment really means, it's time to face the truth. Staying committed isn't always easy. We all start strong, full of excitement and motivation, but somewhere along the way, we lose steam. The dream that once felt exciting starts to feel heavy, and suddenly, everything seems harder than before. We begin to ask ourselves questions like, "Can I really do this?" Or, "Maybe it's not for me." These moments are completely normal, but they're also the times when most people give up. So why does this happen? What makes it so difficult to stay committed? Let's look at some of the common roadblocks that stand in our way. The first big roadblock is self-doubt. This is that small, quiet voice in your head that keeps whispering, "You're not good enough." It makes you question your abilities and lose confidence in yourself. For example, you might start learning English and feel excited at first, but after a while, you hear someone speaking fluently, and suddenly you start thinking, "I'll never be like that." You compare yourself, and that comparison kills your confidence. Self-doubt doesn't always shout. It whispers slowly until you start believing it. And once you believe it, it becomes easy to stop trying. The second barrier is perfectionism. Many of us want everything to be perfect before we start, or we want to do it perfectly from the first try. But perfectionism is a trap. It makes you afraid to make mistakes, afraid to look bad, and afraid to fail. You might tell yourself, "I'll start studying English when I have more time," or "I'll record myself speaking only when my pronunciation is perfect." But that perfect time never comes. Perfectionism stops progress because it tells you that if it's not perfect, it's not worth doing. In reality, it's the small, imperfect actions that bring real growth. Then comes fear of failure, one of the strongest reasons people quit. We worry so much about failing that we don't even try. We imagine what others will think if we make a mistake, or we convince ourselves that failure means we're not capable. But failure isn't the opposite of success. It's part of it. Every successful person has failed, often many times. The only difference is that they didn't stop there. They learned, they adjusted, and they tried again. When you're afraid of failure, you limit your growth. But when you accept it as part of the process, you build resilience, that inner strength to keep going. Another challenge is distraction. We live in a noisy world. Messages, notifications, social media, and endless entertainment. Every minute, something is fighting for your attention. You might start studying English for 10 minutes, Then check your phone, just for a second. And before you know it, 30 minutes are gone. We talk ourselves out of focus without realizing it. Distractions steal our time, but more importantly, they steal our progress. Staying committed means learning to protect your focus, to say no to what doesn't matter, so you can say yes to what truly does. And finally, there's impatience, the silent killer of commitment. We live in a fast world where we want results right now. We want to speak English fluently after 1 month, lose weight in a week, or see success overnight. But real growth doesn't work that way. Progress is slow, and that's okay. Impatience makes us quit just before we start to see results. It makes us forget that every small effort adds up. You can't build something great in 1 day, but you can do something small every day that builds greatness over time. Let me share a small story. There was a young man named Karim who wanted to start his own online business. He worked hard for a few months, building his website and promoting his products. But when sales didn't come right away, he started to doubt himself. He thought, maybe this isn't for me. His friends were getting stable jobs while he was still struggling, so he gave up. A year later, he met another person who had started a similar business at the same time. That person also struggled in the beginning, but didn't stop. Slowly, he improved his website, learned new marketing skills, and built a small but loyal customer base. Karim realized something important. He had given up too early. It wasn't that his dream was impossible. He just didn't stay long enough to see it happen. This story is a reminder for all of us. We all face moments when things don't go as planned. We all face doubt, fear, and impatience. But these feelings don't mean we should stop. They mean we're growing. Every time you overcome a roadblock, you become stronger and more prepared for the next challenge. So take a moment and think. Which of these roadblocks do you recognize in yourself? Is it self-doubt that keeps whispering you're not enough? Is it perfectionism that makes you wait for the right time? Or maybe it's distractions that steal your focus every day. Becoming aware of these barriers is the first step to overcoming them. Once you see them clearly, they lose their power over you. Remember, every person who has ever succeeded has faced the same obstacles. The difference is, they decided to keep going, and so can you. The turning point. Choosing to stay when it's hard. There's always a moment in every journey when things get really hard. That emotional point where most people decide to quit. Maybe you've felt it before. You start something with passion and hope, but after a while, things don't go the way you expected. You face obstacles, mistakes, and moments of doubt. You feel tired, frustrated, and lost. It's that moment when you say to yourself, maybe this isn't working. Maybe I should stop. That's the turning point. The moment when your dream either ends or becomes real. What makes the difference is not luck or talent, but commitment, the choice to stay when it's hard. Commitment doesn't mean you never feel tired or doubtful. It means you keep going anyway. It's about discipline, doing what you said you would do, even when your mood changes. Motivation depends on feelings, but discipline depends on values. When you're disciplined, you don't wait to feel ready. You just show up. You might not feel excited to study English today, but you still open your notebook. You might not feel strong enough to exercise, but you still put on your shoes. That's how success is built, not through perfect days, but through persistence during imperfect ones. Think about it this way. Your emotions go up and down like waves. Some days you feel strong. Other days you feel weak. But your commitment should stay steady. like a boat sailing through those waves. Discipline helps you keep pushing forward even when the sea gets rough. That's the power of staying true to your goal. You learn to act based on your purpose, not your feelings. One of the most inspiring examples of this kind of commitment is the story of J.K. Rowling, the author of the Harry Potter series. Before she became one of the most successful writers in the world, she went through years of struggle. She was a single mother living on a very small income, writing in cafes while her baby slept beside her. She sent her book to many publishers, and most of them rejected her. Imagine how painful that must have been, to put your heart into something and hear no again and again. Many people would have given up after the first or second rejection. But she didn't. She held on to her dream. She believed in her story when nobody else did. That's what it means to be committed, to keep believing and working, even when success seems far away. Eventually, one publisher said yes, and the rest is history. But her success didn't come from luck. It came from her decision to keep going through setbacks. We can also see this in smaller, everyday stories. Stories that are just as powerful. For example, I once knew a student who wanted to improve her English speaking skills. In the beginning, she was full of motivation. She practiced daily, listened to podcasts, and repeated words in front of the mirror. But when she joined her first online conversation class, she froze. She couldn't speak. Her mind went blank, and she felt embarrassed. She thought, "I'm not good enough." For a few days, she wanted to quit, but instead of giving up, she decided to hold on to her why, her reason for learning English. She wanted to study abroad and communicate confidently. So she tried again. The next week, she spoke one short sentence. The week after that, 2 sentences. Slowly, her confidence grew. Months later, she was leading group discussions with a smile on her face. That's the beauty of staying committed. The moment you want to quit is usually the moment right before progress happens. Most people don't realize that. They stop when things get difficult, not knowing that they were just one step away from a breakthrough. But those who choose to stay, who stay patient, consistent, and disciplined, are the ones who transform their lives. Every journey has setbacks. You might fail an exam, lose a job, or feel like your efforts are not paying off. But these moments are not the end. They're tests. They ask you one simple question. How much do you really want this? If your answer is a lot, then you don't stop. You rest, reflect, and start again. That's what commitment looks like. It's not about being perfect, but about not giving up when things get messy. When you stay committed during hard times, something powerful happens inside you. You build resilience. You prove to yourself that you can handle discomfort. You become stronger, calmer, and more confident. You learn that progress isn't always visible. Sometimes it's happening quietly inside you, preparing you for bigger things. So, the next time you feel like quitting, take a deep breath and remember your why. Why did you start in the first place? What dream were you chasing? Hold on to that reason tightly, because it will carry you through the hardest days. The truth is, anyone can stay committed when things are easy. But real growth happens when you stay even when it's hard. When you choose discipline over mood, patience over frustration, and belief over doubt. That's the moment when your life begins to change, one brave choice at a time. Building a committed mindset. In the last part, we talked about how important it is to stay committed, especially when things get hard. Now, let's move a step deeper and talk about something very practical. How to build a committed mindset. Because here's the truth. Commitment is not something you're born with. It's something you build. It's a skill. And like any other skill, it grows stronger the more you practice it. A committed mindset means you don't give up when progress feels slow. It means you keep showing up, even when your mood says, "Not today." It's not about being perfect, it's about being consistent. The more you train your mind to stay focused on your goals, the more natural commitment becomes. So let's talk about some simple but powerful ways to strengthen that mindset. Day by day, choice by choice. Let's start with something small but powerful. Focus on small wins. Most people think success means doing something huge, something impressive that everyone can see. But the truth is, big success is made up of many small wins. When you're learning English, for example, every new word you learn, every sentence you understand, and every short conversation you finish, these are all small wins. They may not seem big at first, but together they build real progress. When you celebrate those moments, you train your brain to notice growth. It keeps you motivated and helps you see that your effort is paying off. Remember this: small steps, taken daily, create big change. That's not just a nice sentence. It's a powerful truth. The next key idea is track progress, not perfection. Many people give up because they want to be perfect from the beginning. They think, if I can't do it perfectly, I won't do it at all. But perfection is a trap. It makes you focus on what's missing instead of what's improving. The real goal is progress. If yesterday you could only speak one English sentence confidently, and today you can speak 3, that's progress. If you read one more page than yesterday, that's progress too. Track those moments. Write them down. When you see your small improvements, you build confidence, and confidence creates more commitment. So remember, don't chase perfection, track progress. Another important piece of a committed mindset is staying consistent, even on bad days. Let's be honest, not every day feels good. Some days you feel tired, bored, or discouraged. Maybe you studied for a week and didn't see much progress. Maybe you practiced your pronunciation but still make mistakes. It's okay. Everyone has those days. But commitment means doing your best, even when you don't feel like it. That's where real strength grows. Imagine this. You promised yourself to study English 20 minutes a day. One day you wake up late and have no energy. You think about skipping it, but instead, you do just 10 minutes. That small act is powerful. It's not about how much time you spent. It's about keeping your promise. That's how discipline is built. Not by being perfect, but by staying consistent. Another thing that really helps is surrounding yourself with supportive people. It's much easier to stay committed when you're not alone. The people around you have a big influence on your mindset. If you spend time with people who always complain, who say, "It's too hard," or "It's impossible," their negativity can slowly become yours. But when you spend time with positive, hardworking people, those who lift you up, share your goals, and encourage your dreams, their energy inspires you to keep going. Think about it. Who do you spend your time with? Are they helping you grow or holding you back? Choose your circle carefully. Find people who believe in growth, who talk about goals and progress, not excuses. Your environment shapes your commitment. Now, let's take a short moment for reflection. A little mental exercise for you. Take a deep breath and think about this question. What's one dream you could commit to for the next 30 days? It doesn't have to be something big. Maybe it's practicing your English speaking every morning for 15 minutes. Maybe it's reading one English article every day. Or maybe it's something personal, like exercising, journaling, or meditating. Choose something realistic, something meaningful to you. Then, make a small promise to yourself. For the next 30 days, I will stay committed to this goal. Write it down on paper or tell a friend. The moment you make that promise, something changes inside you. You start to take yourself more seriously. You begin to trust your own word. And that's the secret. Commitment builds self-trust. Every time you do what you said you would do, your confidence grows. You start to believe in your own power. You no longer need motivation from outside because you have something stronger within. Discipline, consistency, and faith in yourself. So, to build a committed mindset, remember these 4 things. Focus on small wins. Track your progress instead of chasing perfection. Stay consistent even when it's hard. And surround yourself with people who lift you higher. These habits may seem simple, but they create a strong foundation for every dream you want to achieve. Commitment is not about doing everything perfectly. It's about doing something regularly. It's about showing up for yourself, even when nobody else does. Because every time you take one small step forward, no matter how tiny it feels, you're building something that will last. So keep going. Keep showing up. Keep believing. Your commitment today is the seed of your success tomorrow. Commitment in daily life. Now that we've talked about how to build a committed mindset, let's bring this idea closer to everyday life. It's one thing to talk about commitment, but it's another thing to live it, day by day, choice by choice. Commitment isn't just for big goals or big dreams. It's something that shapes our daily routines, our relationships, our health, and even our career. It's in the small decisions we make every single day. The times when we choose to stay the course instead of giving up. Let's start with something very familiar to all of us. Learning English. Imagine someone named Rena. She has always wanted to speak English fluently, so she can travel confidently and apply for better jobs. In the beginning, she was full of energy. She bought new books, joined an online course, and studied for hours. But after 2 weeks, her motivation started to fade. She got busy, tired, and sometimes frustrated when she couldn't understand everything she heard. Many people stop there. They throw in the towel. But Rena decided to stick with it. She made a small promise to herself. I'll practice speaking English for just 15 minutes every morning. Even on days when she felt sleepy or lazy, she still did it. Some days, she only managed 10 minutes, but she never skipped it. Over time, those small daily efforts added up. Her speaking became smoother, her listening stronger, and her confidence grew naturally. That's what commitment looks like. Not perfection, but persistence. The same principle works in relationships. Whether it's a friendship, a marriage, or a family bond, commitment means being there, even when things get tough. It's easy to care about someone when everything is going well, but true commitment shows up when misunderstandings happen, when patience is tested, or when you feel like walking away. Imagine a couple who argue often, but choose to communicate instead of quitting. They sit down, talk honestly, and try to understand each other. That's not easy. It takes emotional effort. But by staying the course and not giving up after every disagreement, their relationship becomes stronger. Just like language learning, relationships grow through consistent care, through showing up again and again, even when it's not simple. Now, think about health and daily habits. We all say things like, I'll start exercising tomorrow, or I'll eat healthier next week. But without commitment, those promises fade quickly. Imagine a man named David who decides to start running every morning. The first few days are easy because he feels excited. But soon, the weather gets cold, his bed feels too comfortable, and his motivation disappears. Still, David decides not to give up. He tells himself, "I'll just put on my shoes and step outside." Some days he runs 3 kilometers, some days just one, but he keeps going. And after a few months, he notices how much better he feels. More energy, more focus, and more confidence. That's the quiet power of commitment. It's not about running fast. It's about refusing to stop running. Finally, let's talk about career growth and personal success. In any job or career, success doesn't come overnight. It comes from showing up, learning, improving, and trying again after failure. Think about someone working in a company, maybe in their first job. In the beginning, everything feels confusing. They make mistakes, receive feedback, and sometimes feel not good enough. Many people would quit or blame themselves, but a committed person sees those moments as lessons. They stay curious, ask questions, and keep improving one skill at a time. Slowly, they become better. Not because they were born talented, but because they decided not to give up. As the old saying goes, when the going gets tough, the tough get going. If you look closely, commitment is the common thread in all areas of life. Whether you're learning English, building strong relationships, improving your health, or growing in your career, it's the same mindset. Keep going, even when it's hard. Every area of life rewards the person who sticks with it. Motivation might push you to start, but commitment is what carries you through the long road. Now, I'd like you to think about your own life. Where do you see commitment working or missing in your daily routine? Are you someone who gives up too early when things get tough? Or are you learning to stay the course? Remember, nobody is perfect. Everyone struggles to stay consistent sometimes. But the difference between success and failure often comes down to one simple thing: who keeps going when others stop? So, as you move through your day, keep this in mind. Stick with it. Stay the course. Don't throw in the towel. Because in the end, the people who achieve their goals aren't always the most talented. They're the ones who simply refuse to quit. Whether it's your English learning, your health, your work, or your relationships, keep showing up. Keep pushing forward. The results will come, slowly, quietly, and beautifully, for those who stay committed. Reflection and self-connection. Let's slow down for a moment. Take a deep breath. You've been listening, thinking, maybe even imagining your own goals while we talked about commitment. But now, I want to invite you to go a little deeper, to turn inward and reflect on your own life. This part isn't about information or examples. It's about you. Because commitment starts from a quiet, honest place inside yourself. The place where you ask, what do I really want? And am I truly ready to stay with it? Let's be honest. Life moves fast. We get busy with work, family, responsibilities, and everyday noise. We make plans, we start new things, but sometimes we forget to ask ourselves why we're doing them. This is the moment to pause and reconnect with your why. Why do you want to learn English? Why do you want to grow, to improve, to change? What's the dream that's been living quietly inside you, waiting for your full attention? Maybe there's something you've always wanted to do, something that keeps coming back to your mind, again and again. It might be learning a new skill, starting a personal project, or even changing your lifestyle. Ask yourself, what's one thing you've always wanted to do, but never fully committed to? Be honest with yourself. Maybe you started once or twice, but stopped when it got difficult. Maybe you told yourself, "I'm too busy," or "It's too late now." But deep down, you know it's still there. That dream hasn't left you. It's just waiting for your commitment. Now imagine something powerful. What would your life look like if you finally committed to that dream? Really committed. What would change if you decided to show up for yourself every single day, no matter how small the step? Maybe your confidence would grow. Maybe your relationships would improve. Maybe you'd finally feel proud of yourself again, not because everything is perfect, but because you finally kept a promise to yourself. The truth is, commitment is not about having more time, or more talent, or more luck. It's about making a choice, a quiet, personal decision to keep showing up, again and again. You don't need to move mountains in one day. You don't even need to know all the steps. You just need to start and stay. Because once you decide to stay, the path begins to open in front of you. So ask yourself, what's one thing in your life right now that truly deserves your commitment? Maybe it's your English learning, that dream of speaking confidently, freely, and naturally. Maybe it's your health, taking care of your body and mind. Maybe it's a relationship that needs more time, love, and patience. Or maybe it's your own personal growth, becoming a stronger, calmer, more disciplined version of yourself. Whatever it is, give it your heart. Not just your time, not just your energy, but your full, honest commitment. You see, dreams are not magical. They don't just appear. They grow through consistency, through effort, through failure, and through the courage to try again. Every time you take one small action toward your dream, you're watering the seed of your future. Even if you don't see results right away, something is happening. You're changing. You're growing. You're becoming the kind of person who follows through. And that's the most beautiful part of commitment. It transforms you from the inside. It teaches you patience. It teaches you strength. It teaches you to believe in yourself even when nobody else does. Because every time you keep going, you prove to yourself that you are capable, that you are stronger than your excuses, that your dreams are worth fighting for. So, as we reach this moment of reflection, I want to leave you with one simple reminder. Your dreams are possible, but only when you decide to keep showing up. Don't wait for the perfect time, the perfect plan, or the perfect motivation. Start with what you have. Take one small step today, and then take another tomorrow. That's how real change begins, quietly, patiently, one day at a time. And as you move forward, remember this. Commitment is not a cage, it's freedom. It frees you from regret, from hesitation, from what if. It gives you direction, purpose, and peace of mind. So take this moment to look within, to choose your dream, and to promise yourself that you'll stay with it. Not just for a few days, but for as long as it takes. Because in the end, the people who turn their dreams into reality are not the ones who had the easiest path. They're the ones who decided to stay, to keep walking, to keep believing, and to keep showing up day after day. And you, too, can be one of them. Throughout this journey, we've seen that motivation is not always reliable. It comes and goes. Some days we feel excited and full of energy, and other days we just don't. But commitment, that quiet promise we make to ourselves, stays steady. It's what keeps us moving when motivation fades. That's why we say, commitment is stronger than motivation. Motivation might get you started, but commitment is what keeps you going. Think about it. How many times have you started something with great excitement, only to stop when it became difficult? Maybe it was learning English, starting a fitness routine, or working on a personal project. The truth is, everyone faces that moment when progress feels slow and results seem invisible. But that's also the moment that separates those who dream from those who achieve. The people who keep going, even when no one is watching, are the ones who eventually reach their goals. Because they understand a simple truth. Mindset is more important than mood. Your mindset, the way you think and talk to yourself, shapes your entire journey. A committed mindset doesn't wait for the right feeling. It focuses on the right action. It says, I may not feel like it today, but I'll do it anyway. And when you keep taking small steps, even on the tough days, something magical happens. Those steps start to build momentum. Every small effort adds up. Every bit of progress matters. It's not about big talk or big promises. It's about small steps taken consistently. Remember this: small steps, taken daily, create big change. Let's be honest. It's easy to talk about dreams. Everyone has them. But not everyone commits to them. The difference between talking about your dream and living your dream is simple. Action. Not someday, not when you feel ready, but today. Because there will never be a perfect time. The conditions will never be ideal. Life will always be a bit messy, a bit complicated. But if you wait for everything to be perfect, you'll end up waiting forever. That's why one of the most powerful choices you can make is to commit to the next step. Not the whole mountain, just the next small step in front of you. Let's recap what we've talked about today. We learned that commitment is greater than motivation, because it helps you keep moving even when your emotions change. We explored how mindset matters more than mood, reminding us that actions lead to progress, not feelings. And we discussed how small steps are more powerful than big talk. Because real progress happens in quiet, daily effort, not in loud promises. So here's your challenge for today. Think of one goal, one dream that truly matters to you. It could be learning English, improving your health, building your confidence, or starting something creative. Then, make a small commitment. It doesn't have to be big or dramatic. Just promise yourself one small step. Something you can do every day, even for 10 minutes. Maybe it's listening to an English podcast every morning, walking for 15 minutes, or writing one paragraph in your journal. Whatever it is, commit to it. Do it not because you feel like it, but because you promised yourself that you would. Remember these words. Dreams don't come true by chance. They come true by commitment. It's not luck. It's not talent. It's showing up again and again, even when it's not easy. So, my friend, as you finish listening to this episode, I want you to carry this thought with you. Don't wait for the perfect time. The perfect time is now. Don't wait for confidence. Build it by doing. Don't wait for motivation. Create it through action. Life changes when you do. Thank you so much for spending this time with me today. I hope this episode helped you see the power of staying committed, not just for a week or a month, but as a way of life. Remember, every big success starts with a small decision. The decision to begin and to keep going. I'll leave you with this final thought. Commitment is a habit, not a moment. Every day you show up, you strengthen it a little more. So go out there, take one small action today, and move one step closer to the life you dream of. You've got this. Stay strong, stay consistent, and stay committed.